I'm the writer and director of Mudblood the Book Spells.
And I'm Riikka, and I'm the creative director and fan type knowledge for this film.
And you've already heard from this guy. So, but I mean, I'm better. Have you told them a bit about your film?
No. Well, the reason I'm involved here is that they've just seen me outside and paid me €5 to go stand. No, I was on the internet and I saw this advertised for an audition for Charlie Fowler. And you know, if you ever think you want to be an actor, or someone says, what acting role do you want to play? You either say Harry Potter or James Bond, don't you? You say one of the two, or you say both. So I saw this, and within about 50 seconds of seeing it, I'd sent my CV off, and they got back to me and said, would you like to go on to an audition? Yeah, if I'm honest. So I went along to an audition, and they offered me the part of Charlie Fowler in Mudblood. And then before this, I was in a feature film called Gladiator's Story. You may have heard of it, you may not. And I played the lead role in that, and that's been all over the world.
Yeah, that was a pretty successful role, like.
Yeah,
so modest about it.
Tell them about your silverware, man. Come on, that's what they're interested in. They want to know about the awards.
It did okay. You may have heard of the Gold Grammy Awards in Wellfest, Texas, and it won Gold Grammy for Best Feature. I won Best Actor Gold Grammy, and then I won Best Young Actor in Hollywood, Best Actor in Colorado.
Yeah, good on.
So anyway, I mean, yeah, Brett came to audition, and we instantly we became really good friends, and he started really understanding my vision as the director. So Mudblood the Book Spells, what is it? Mudblood the Book Spells is a fan feature film which is set 10 years after the Battle of Hogwarts. So it really is a modern twist of the ministry, of the wizarding world, of absolutely everything we all know and love. So why is it that we're all here today? Well, it's a bit obvious really, because of Harry. And it's quite funny because and magic, of course. Myself and Riikka, we grew up in the generation of the books. We waited for the books to come out, we then watched the films, waited for the books, films, and it was nail-biting. Of course, Brenton, you probably come from a bit of a different generation.
Well, I hate to admit it, especially sat in front of you lot staring at me, but to admit that I've never read the books. Yes, I've never read the books.
But again, you are so dyslexic that I can't blame you.
Yeah, well, these two are dyslexic, so we make a fantastic team. We're all dyslexic. But I said to Riikka, I told Riikka I'd never read the book. She said, you must have done. I haven't. And then she didn't talk to me for about 3 hours after that. And then she said, well, read this. And I read it, she went, wow, you actually are really dyslexic. So I do struggle with it, and I am now planning on listening to the audio books. Stephen Fry.
You're amazing.
But
highly recommended.
I'm into the films because I love film and TV.
So of course, the one thing that we all found after the books had ended is we were all pretty sad.
I mean, the moment I read the last book, I felt really horrible, like every fan probably did. But then I found solace in the fact that there's a film coming, yay! And then there's the last film, 7.2, and I stand up to clap, yay! Best film ever, amazing! And then when I sit back down, I realize that, yeah, that's the last one.
And even Voldemort was upset about this. So, I mean, yeah, obviously we were all heartbroken that the series was ended, and of course we're all searching for friends and something. And the one thing that we all kind of found is that we found each other. And it was really weird because, you have so many friends in your life, and you tend to think that they're all so important, they all care about you so much. We found that the real people that cared about us were the Harry Potter fans.
And funnily enough, this is not just us who think about it. Let's talk about science.
Absolutely. So there are scientists in the United States of America who published a journal saying, basically they did a study, thousands of Harry Potter fans, and they wanted to know what it was about Harry Potter fans that made us all so special. So loyalty. Loyalty was one of the big traits that stood out in all of us. So Harry, Ron, and Hermione are the best of friends, and for some reason it all resonates in us that we must be friends with people. But it's not even we must be friends with people, we want to be friends with people. We're not afraid of sticking together as a group.
And I mean, obviously, when you grew up with this amazing set of values, it must give something to you as well, and to have your own life.
And of course, it's not only loyalty, but perseverance is something which we've all got in us, the drive to do something better. Now, I mean, if Harry, Ron, and Hermione had given up at the Devil's Snare, they would never have got to Philosopher's Stone. Likewise with the Wizard's Chess, and etc. But this is something which, when they tested this out, I mean, how do you really test this out? You talk to a lot of people and you ask them, what is it that you do? And when you look at this study really in detail, you'll see how amazing it actually is. I mean, I really recommend going off, looking up Harry Potter fans science. You'll find the most interesting things of your life, I promise you. And of course, the last one, bravery. And bravery is something which, we've all got in us, but it takes a hell of a lot to do the brave thing. Now, I think it speaks for itself, really.
Well, the reason why I chose Severus here is because his bravery is of a different kind. And funnily enough, actually, just today in BuzzFeed, this morning I read that educating all of you who think Snape is a hero, damn. But in all honesty, he's very screwed up and he did some very bad things. But in the end, he manages to tap down into the power, strength and bravery within himself. And it's very different from the kind of well-marketed Gryffindor kind of strength. But he is brave. Nobody can deny that.
Absolutely. And then one of the final ones, standing up for what you believe in. This is a really important one in our society, in our generation today, because we have to do what's right. We're in the age of the internet. We know most things these days and we're able to reference them. So the fact that Neville Longbottom stood up to Lord Voldemort in front of all of those Death Eaters, with Harry seemingly deceased, that's courage for you, and that's what we all kind of share. So, I really want to just thank you guys, everyone. I want to thank every Harry Potter fan that's ever lived for being Harry Potter fans.
So, in a nutshell, Harry Potter is amazing, magic is amazing, and we are amazing.
Fantastic. So, we decided that after the books and the films ended, that we didn't just want that to be the end, and of course JK has done such an amazing job at creating this universe that we really couldn't just let go. So we started thinking about ideas, started thinking about Mudbloods, and we started thinking about a whole new story that we could potentially take even further. So what we want to do quickly is we want to show you some test footage that we shot in summer 2014. The idea of mine was to go out